Hello everyone and welcome to a Dream 11 VPL5 T10 team preview. We are going to have a look at the Grenadines Divers. Despite playing fiercely and passionately throughout this tournament, they always find themselves at the bottom of the table. Their best finish ever is fifth in this competition. What can the Grenadines Divers do to kind of get themselves above water in this VPL5? I have with me, Alanson Cruikshank and Kenroy Bassi.
Welcome to another preview of VPL5. We are here with the Divers team. We're here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, bringing you live broadcast here on this tournament. So welcome, and we do hope that the information that we provide to you is very necessary for this tournament. Yes, and good for all of you, as wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another preview with the Grenadines Divers. As mentioned by Stacey, the team has not, performed as well as they should have. In some cases, they have had fairly good teams. I could remember, especially in VPL1, the team was very strong in that VPL, but they just haven't really, put all the different aspects of the game together so far. So we'll go through their squad and see what they have.
Yes. So let's have a look at their squad. Asif Cooper, returning captain. Also have Chadwick Walton, Dean Brown, Benetton Stapleton, Cody Hahn, Razine Brown, Richie Richards, Romario Bibi, Cosmos Haksha, Rodrigo Thomas, Gerard Wiley, Rayshawn Williams, Weswick Strop, and Colby W. I think that they have done a lot in the draft in terms of balance in the team compared to last year. What do you guys think? Compared to last year, what do you think?
Well, they definitely have a stronger team than last year, in my opinion. The leader of the team, Asif Cooper, he's the one who really, wears his heart on his sleeve. I was saying off air earlier that he's one of the most loved cricketers in the country. Has a big following as an individual cricketer. He would have to lead from the front, I think, sometimes, because Asif is a very emotional player. As we said, he wears his heart on his sleeve. When the team is not going well, sometimes it is difficult for him to, kind of pull himself away and then try to encourage the others, because then, you can see that he's down as well as the team. And so, that's something that, they'll have to think about throughout the year. They have Chadwick Walton now in their team, vast experience, former CCC player, Jamaica. He has played so much cricket, and he will be a very important force in this tournament for them. And there will be some change. We'll see how they go in VPL5.
Well, I think it's time enough that the Divers take their tongues off and come up with some air, in this tournament. They have been down there for too long. I think the changes that they have made are pretty important. The inclusion of Walton, and that would take some pressure off of Hooper, who has been carrying the team on his back for the past 4 tournaments or so. And Dean Brown, the addition to this team, is a very good finisher. He would make some impact in this team as well. So this may be Divers' year.
Who knows? If there's the point where you call, where do you think you'll finish? But before we get into all of that, I'm really excited to hear where you think they'll finish at the end. But in best 11, we selected a best 11 for this squad. In terms of the bowling, Kenroy, what kind of fans expect?
The bowling for the Divers team, just a little bit concerns me. They don't have this out-and-out spinner. Yes, the skipper bowls, and also you have Richie Richards, who bowls an off spin as well. Stapleton, medium pacer, Brown, and Bibi, Wiley is a leg spinner as well. So they would have to use them in different scenarios, different aspects of the game, up front, in the middle. Who would be doing the job? I don't know. So they have to get that combination right. So the bowling department is what I'm very much worried about in respect of the Divers team. They need to get that aspect right.
Yeah, and pressure can do a lot to you.
Yeah.
And the team in the tournament who hasn't got into the playoffs at any point in time. What about the batting? What do you think?
Well, I'm looking at the team, and as mentioned by Kenroy, if you look at the 11 that we selected, only the 3 of them are unlikely to bowl. So they would have a lot of bowling options. So as he mentioned, how they use them and where they fit would be a very important thing to determine where they finish. But their batting, Walton and Hooper, will be very, very important to this team in their batting. They are the ones who are most likely to be at the start. They are the ones who will give the team that start that they need, that solid base. And if they get a solid start in most of their games, then they'll be very destructive, because we have seen that they have a very destructive back end in terms of the all-rounders that they have. All these all-rounders are big hitters, massive hitters of the ball. Brown, Stapleton, Straw. And Richie Richards has played some very useful innings for them in previous editions as well. So it basically shows that they have that firepower at the end. But the firepower at the end will need a good start, because what will happen is that if they lose wickets quickly or in a clump or cluster up front, then it will be very important for Thomas and Raishaw and Williams, who would be that connection between the top and the middle, to then be able to guide the team towards the end, so that the others, the big hitters at the end, can go really hard in the last few overs.
Indeed. That period between 5 and 8 overs for this team would be critically important, whether bowling or batting.
Yeah.
Between 5 to 8 overs. They need to get that part of the game right.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about Benetton Stapleton as well. About that he's a player that can hit me miles. So
Very powerful batsman.
They'll look to in that middle order, maybe around that 5 to 8 period, to come in and assist him, depending on how the top order goes.
Right, you see, that's the thing you don't want. You don't want to put too much pressure on the top half, and you don't want to put too much pressure on the lower half to do too much work.
And the top half needs to have freedom.
Exactly.
They need to know that they can rely on players that's coming. So that might be a question for them as well on this tournament. If the top half goes, who do we have at the back end?
Right. Yeah. So that was that critical period.
Yeah, because most of them they play in one way. Brown, Stapleton, Straw.
Right.
They're hitters, but you're not going to expect them to knock it around for a while if they're in trouble and then get the team going again. They will go hard. If they get through, then it will be very good for the team. But if they don't, then all of a sudden they're into the lower order very quickly. And so that is something that they have to bear in mind and get that approach right, measure that approach right in terms of their batting lineup.
Actually, that has been the problem with this team. They don't have that comeback power. Whenever things go bad up front, this team tends to collapse, and there's nobody coming back from the back end. So that is the area that they need to work at in this tournament.
Agreed. And we've mentioned a lot of names today, a lot of names. We've mentioned a lot of names, Benetton, Chadwick. But who is the key player in this team? Who do we think is going to make the most impact in this tournament for the Grenadines Divers? Over the years, Asif, who plays with it, sort of turned to. But for me, I think with the addition of Weswick Straw, I think he's a good addition to this team. So for me, he is the impact player. In VPL1, I mean, it's something to mention. He has only played 2 tournaments. He has only played 2 editions of VPL. Yeah. In VPL1, he was the highest wicket taker. Yeah. And in VPL4, he was second behind Ryan Williams for the Hikers. So I think he will be the key player with the ball for them. He's a smart bowler. He knows how to bowl in these circumstances. Yeah. So I think he is the key man for them in this. What about you, Anderson?
Well, just to say something about Straw, I mean, something he has been doing for his entire career, because I remember him as a schoolboy when at Josham Secondary School, and it was a similar role. He was never a quick bowler, so he was never one to open the bowler or anything like that. But he was always able to get variations and to bowl those slower deliveries. And because he himself is a very aggressive batsman, he has the ability, when the batsmen are being aggressive at that point in the game, to kind of have an idea of what they will be trying to achieve and to combat that.
It's just to mention, 2 tournaments, he's only played in 2 editions, and he has 24 wickets. Yeah. So that says a lot about the way he bowls in the tournament.
Well, for me, I have Chadwick as my impact player. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because I know he hasn't been playing a lot of cricket in recent times. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because quality is quality. And so he has played 182 matches. He has 3,456 runs, a highest score in T20 of 99 not out. So he just missed 100 and a strike rate of 124.22, which may not seem very high. But he is a very, very effective batsman, both against pace and spin. So that's something that is very important. And Chadwick is also a very astute cricketer in terms of the way that he thinks about the game. We all remember what happened a few years ago in the CPL when Keswick dismissed him. And of course, Keswick had the notebook celebration at the time. And every time Chadwick was able to hit him in that next innings, he just kept ticking off, page after page. And he's that type of individual as well. He will think about what he's going to do, not just in terms of his approach on the field, but if there is something else that is happening within the cricket that people want to see as entertainment, then he will be thinking about how he can get involved in that as well. A good jovial player as well.
Well, my impact player for this tournament, for this team, would be Benetton Stapleton. Stapleton has played for Breakers. I think he played for Hikers as well.
Yes, he played in Hikers.
Right, and he have been given several roles, whether to come in, hit the ball, whether to bowl the last over. I could remember him bowling the last over in the finals, and they won the game. And he would be very important for them at the back end. So he could make a very big impact in this tournament and for this team, Benetton Stapleton.
Apart from Chadwick, they also have another active player, right, Sean Williams.
Yeah.
Alan said you can do next because why Sean let the Pats know what they can from him in the tournament.
Why Sean Williams is a batsman, Barbadian. And as I said before, it was very difficult to get stats on the Barbadian players on their side. Just to say that, he will have a very key role in this because he's likely to be batting in the middle order. And he'll be that connection between Hooper and Walton at the top. And then you'll have those big hitters at the end who we mentioned before, Stapleton, Brown, Straw, and so on. So he would have a very key role to play. And with his experience, you'd have to know how to navigate so that the team is in a position where they have that launching pad towards the end of the innings.
Yes, cool. Last place, last year, best finish fit. Do you think they've done enough to get into the playoffs? Who knows? Maybe even champions. Where do you see them finishing, Keroy?
Divers coming up for air. I think I see Divers within the first four, really. Chadwick, Walton, Hooper, Stapleton, Straw, Brown. They need to get their team from that position to the one that I'm talking about. They could qualify for the second one.
I will just say that every team in this tournament has the ability to get into the playoff. But I mean, you have to run yourself and put yourself out there on a limb and choose a team that can get into the playoffs. I would say that this team, it will be very heavily dependent on the performance of Hooper, and I will say as well Walton.
Yeah.
If these two players have very good tournaments, especially from the inception of the tournament, then they will get into the playoffs. But if for some reason these two do not strike, then it will leave too much, I think, on the lower order where you have all that power to do most of the heavy lifting. So that's what I would say. So I'm putting them so far, I'm leaving them out of the playoffs so far.
So another mother bit.
No.
So the Divers not coming up for air this year? No air for the Divers?
And of course I'm saying all of this to say before ball is born, because after a game or two, if the two of them are in very good form, it might be able just to say, that they're looking good.
All right, well, I'll have to dissect there with regards to the Grenadines Divers, but that concludes our team preview on the Grenadines Divers. Just a reminder, there'll be a preview on all 6 teams in the tournament. Tune in at VPL10 on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And you cannot miss the action. It begins on April 10th to the 23rd. So see you there.